Welcome to my video on photographing Neptune with an iPhone. This is my setup right here. I had a iPhone 15 and just a regular tripod, and then I had a little, it was a Bluetooth camera controller, so I could click that without touching the screen because I did 6 30-second exposures, what I use as my base photography for this. And this is one of the raw images. You can tell right there is Saturn. I chose Neptune because it's right next to Saturn. It's just within a few degrees of it, so it's pretty easy to target as far as that goes right now. But you can see my skies have a lot of light pollution. That was actually at night. The picture here, it takes a lot of processing to pull out the images. Okay, this is going to be the what I did with the, it's called Sequator or Sequator. It's just S, the word Equator. And this is the software package that I use to process the 6 images. Actually 7 images, I'm sorry. And they have to be in JPEG format, first of all. So you have to convert them from the native format in the iPhone to JPEG, and then it will accept them. So what I'm doing is I'm picking out the images here, and it's going to be loading them in just a second. Here we go. Okay, there it brings up the images. You can see over here on this area up here, those are the 7 images. Now I have to pick an output file. It definitely has to have an output file, so I just call it like Neptune 12, 15, 2025, something like that. Yeah, it is. And you have to have that. That is a requirement. Now I'm going to go through and pick the sky area because this is a large area of the sky, and I want to try to pick the area where Neptune is at. So I'm going to pick this whole area right here, and that kind of gives it a highlight area, something to work on, because the rest of the areas won't be in good shape. I probably could have picked a smaller area and got a little better resolution there, but that'll work. And then I have to go through and reduce the background light pollution. So it does a pretty good job of pulling the images out of the light pollution, which I seem to have a lot of. So I'll let it do its thing. Now it's doing the processing. I hit the little processing button at the bottom. It takes a few seconds to process everything. I'll let it do its thing there. Okay, now there's the final image, and you can see more stars there. So I brought up the native editor in Windows, and I'm going to try to trim this image down. The bright star kind of on the mid left, that is the planet Saturn. So I'm kind of going to focus in on that area, and then I'm going to do some more processing of the image. So the little dot there, that is Saturn. And Neptune is not too far away from that right now. Now I'm going to save it. And it's going to save it as a TIFF file, typically. And I'm going to call this crop, so I know that I've already cropped it, so I don't destroy the original image. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little more editing on this. Right there, Saturn. And Neptune is right up in this area here. I'll have to get the, and now what I'm going to try to do is go back into the editor again inside the windows, and I'm going to adjust some of the parameters. Use that little icon right there. I'm going to adjust the contrast, bring that way up. That brings out the stars and kind of gives it a difference from the background. And then I'm going to bring up the sharpness just a little bit to make the images a little sharper. I'm going to save that. And so there's the image that I got out of it. You definitely see a lot more stars than you could a minute ago. Okay, so here is the image on the right that I took and processed. I processed a little bit more and narrowed it in a little bit more than what I showed you a second ago. Now on the left here, this is the screen from Stellarium. It is a free planetary software program. And what I used there was I typed in the date and time, and then I brought up where Neptune was. So there's Neptune, and then there is Saturn. And so from this, basically, I was able to go through and pick out the Neptune right there, right in here, and it was over here on the Stellarium, and it's at about a magnitude 7.76 is what they're telling me. And that makes sense because on these typical images, by stacking a few 30-second exposures, you can get up to ninth, a little over ninth magnitude. So there's my image, and I use Stellarium to find a Neptune in the star field to identify it. It's not immediately obvious. This is a little better view. Right there is Saturn, and just a few degrees away is going to be Neptune. And I used Stellarium to find that, to get it down to exactly which little faint object it was. Well, thank you for watching. Hope you learned a little bit about processing Neptune and the planet itself. Thank you for watching.